Hey everybody, this is Brent back with another edition of Near Mint Musings. And I just hit play on this because I needed to ask you all a question because I'm confused. And this is a real time confusion. I just was on them internets and looking at Instagram, and there was not anybody in the community. This is somebody random. Maybe they're in the community. I don't know. I won't name names. That just recently, in the last maybe 3 weeks, had posted that they had finally acquired their Grail card. And they were over the moon about it. They did an Instagram post about it with a long story about how they had acquired it. And then lo and behold, 3 weeks later, it's up for sale. Which got me thinking, and this isn't the first time that got me thinking about this, but I really need to ask the question to all of you out there. What is a Grail card? For me, it seems like that term has become so just flippant. In the same ballpark as, a iconic card. But the term Grail just seems it's becoming so watered down, kind of like what GOAT has become as far as describing a player or a person. For me personally, I always viewed a Grail card as something that you have always wanted, always aspired to get, and if it was a PC of a player, or maybe it was a rookie card, or maybe it was like the final piece of a rainbow that you're putting together, whatever it could be. I get that the term Grail can be loose in those terms, but I guess the gravitas of the word Grail has lost its emphasis recently, in my opinion, at least as far as my observations go. I always thought that a Grail card was something that that you've always wanted to get. And once you get it, kind of think it's never going to leave, right? I mean, I'm not going to use the broad brush because I get that real life can happen. That sometimes cars need to be moved for the sake of finances or for the sake of, whatever, right? But to put it out there that you finally obtained your Grail, and then to sell it 3 weeks later just kind of nonchalantly seems a bit weird to me. And I've also seen others that have used the Grail term to describe any card that maybe is a one of one. That no matter if that's whatever, if it is a one of one stamped card, that automatically makes it a Grail card. And that too seems a little just kind of, aren't you watering down the term Grail? I mean, if we want to get brass tacks for a second, I mean, the etymology of the word Grail goes back to, it's a religious thing, right? The Holy Grail. It's like, I don't want to get Monty Python on you, or Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, but we kind of know what the Holy Grail is, right? So that has become kind of an interchangeable term for a lot of things, not just in the hobby, but just things, your Grail, whatever. So I just think that term's being bandied around so flippantly that it's kind of annoying. And not to get off my lawn, but it just seems like, what's the point? Like, why are we calling things Grail if they don't hold that real, tangible, this is an accomplishment, man, I've always wanted this? Because I think the cool parts about having a card like that is that you've worked a long time. Maybe you've sold, maybe you've moved things that really you didn't want to move, but you knew in order to get that card, you needed to do X, Y, and Z. And then, it's the same thing you teach your kids. Like, you want to earn stuff. You want to save up your allowance to go buy something. Or you want to, everything shouldn't be so easily obtained with no, sense of, ownership or work to get to obtaining this stuff, right? That's kind of something that, as adults, we learned as kids, and something that hopefully that we, try to teach our kids as well. But I think that the term Grail has become so just interchangeable with just, rarity, whether it's the manufactured rarity of a of a serial numbered card, or, I mean, I'll give you an example. So recently I did a video on a Harmon Killebrew card that I picked up. I have it right here. I will show a card. This is the Home Run Derby card, the legit 1959 Home Run Derby card. I say legit because there's reprints out there and stuff, but this is, these are not easy to come by. And even if they were easy to come by, for me, this was a card that I knew I had to work at to get, because they're not cheap. You don't see them that often. And I wanted something that was very unique for my Harmon Killebrew collection. I had to sell one of my 1955 rookies of his. I have like 6 or 7 of them, but I had to sell one in order to help fund to get this. Now, again, that's my decision. That doesn't make, the sacrifice doesn't equal a Grail card. My point is, though, is that it's the work that you put towards it, get something that kind of, in my opinion, gives it the right to be called the Grail card. And henceforth, my reason in the video and on the title of the video to call it a Grail card. I just see that, Grail is just used so flippantly and loosely these days that it's kind of losing its meaning. And I'm just wondering, maybe for me, maybe I'm just not up to date with what that term means, which is fine. I'm getting older, so I'm falling behind on a lot of the, the trends and what the kids say on the streets, so to speak. So maybe Grail, the term Grail has changed, and I try not to use it that often myself because, for me, I keep it very, to cards that I think deserve that title. And also, I will give an example. So there was a card about 3+ years ago that I obtained that at the time was a Grail card for me, right? But that was when I was young in my collection, not young, but young in my collection. And that was something that I was, striving for. Fast forward 3.5 years, I no longer have that card, because that card in and of itself, it didn't lose value per se, but it was a card that I moved to get something that had more value for me and more unobtainableism. Sounds like a mineral from Avatar. Does that make sense? So I try to avoid broad brushing, but I guess my overall comment and question is, when did the term Grail become so loosely used? And what truly is a Grail? It's subjective, I get that, but it's also just like, is it really just kind of, does it go hand in hand with manufacturer and rarity? Next time I see a one of one card posted, do I automatically call that a Grail card? I don't know. I won't, but that doesn't mean that others should or shouldn't. Anyways, I just see that term being used a lot, and I wanted to just talk about it. It's me rambling. It's me questioning. That's something that I do as I get older. I question things, and I ramble. So anyways, give me your thoughts down below. What is a Grail card to you? What defines a Grail card? Is that term kind of outdated? Should we just move on? Should we start using terms like, irreplaceable, or should we use terms like, never leaving the collection? That's not really a term, a word, but it's a term. Anyways, you get the point. So anyways, leave your comments down below. I just want to ramble for a while. So one more time, here's my Grail card. What's yours? Give me your thoughts. All right. Appreciate y'all.